The Senate on Wednesday deferred consideration of the Electoral Act, 2022, Repeal and Enactment, Bill, 2026, opting to subject the proposed amendments to further scrutiny before taking a final decision. The decision followed deliberations on the report of the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters during plenary, held in the absence of the committee's chairman, Senator Simon Lalong. Lawakers resolved to step down debate on the report to allow senators more time to study the bill, with consideration now scheduled to resume on Thursday. In addition, the upper chamber agreed to reconvene in an executive session to enable closed-door discussions on sensitive aspects of the proposed electoral reforms, reflecting concerns over the far-reaching implications of the legislation. Although the House of Representatives has already passed the bill, the Senate stressed the need for a more deliberate review process. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, underscored the importance of caution, particularly as preparations for future elections intensify. This is a very important bill, especially as it is election time. We must take our time to ensure justice is done to all, so that we do not end up at the tribunal, Akpabio said. According to the Senate Committee's report, a clause-by-clause analysis of the bill indicates that its enactment would leave Nigerians with a lasting legacy of electoral integrity, enhance transparency, and boost public confidence in the electoral process. The committee recommended that the Senate consider and pass the Electoral Act, Repeal and Enactment, Bill, 2025, as amended, noting that the proposed reforms aim to expand voter participation, safeguard against electoral malpractice, and strengthen the institutional capacity of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Meanwhile, the Supreme Council for Shari'ah in Nigeria has called for the immediate removal of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Prof. Joash Amupitan, alleging that his continued stay in office poses a serious threat to the credibility of Nigeria's democratic process. The council said Muslims across the country would not recognize or legitimize any election conducted under the leadership of an INEC chairman whose integrity, it claimed, is under a cloud. The president of the council, Sheikh Bashir Umar, made the call on Wednesday in Abuja during the SCSN's 2026 annual Pre-Ramadan lecture and General Assembly. Speaking on the theme, Nigeria's future, faith, justice, and leadership, Umar said the demand was anchored on what he described as the INEC chairman's questionable antecedents. We are compelled by conscience and by our responsibility to the nation to insist that Professor Amupitan should step aside. The credibility of elections is the foundation of democracy. When that credibility is in doubt, the entire system is at risk, Umar said. He pointed to a legal brief allegedly authored by the INEC chairman, which claimed the existence of a Christian genocide in Nigeria, saying the document had deepened mistrust and raised concerns about impartiality. An electoral umpire must not only be neutral, he must be seen to be neutral, Umar said. How can Nigerians, especially Muslims, repose confidence in an INEC chairman who has been linked to such a divisive narrative? The council's president questioned. Umar noted that the federal government had repeatedly dismissed the claim contained in the brief, but said the damage to public confidence had already been done. The government itself has said there is no such genocide yet. The fact that the head of our electoral body is associated with that claim is troubling. It creates suspicion and undermines trust in the process, he said. According to him, the council's position is not motivated by religious bias but by concern for national unity and justice. This is not about Islam versus Christianity. It is about fairness, justice, and leadership. Nigeria's future depends on leaders and institutions that unite, not divide, our people, he said. He warned that proceeding with elections under the current INEC leadership could worsen tensions. The SCSN called on President Bola Tinubu and the National Assembly to act swiftly. We want peaceful, credible elections that all Nigerians can accept, but if the leadership of INEC remains under this cloud, many Muslims will find it difficult to recognize or legitimize the outcome of such elections. We urge the President and relevant authorities to do what is necessary in the interest of national cohesion and democratic stability, Umar said. He added that Nigeria deserves an electoral commission that commands the confidence of all.